guys, Rob from Wild Bedded Fish USA. Today I decided to overhaul the Paludarium. I want to go back to the original roots. I want this tank to go back to being a South American style Paludarium, where it typically would show off a nice school of tetras with some corridors and some plecostomus. So recently I picked up a golden nugget pleco that I've had my eye on for quite some time, and I decided to actually set this tank up not only for him but for the barbatus corridors that we have, the bearded corridors. I'm thinking that the reason why the eggs haven't developed and all the breeding that these guys have done is because the pH in this tank, of course, was way too low. So the pH in this tank is about 5.5, which was perfect for wild bedders. Sometimes we went down to about 5.0. So I think when we would get those dips in around 5.0, that's when the eggs would not only start to decompose and fungus up. I'm convinced maybe the pH has something to do with it, because it wouldn't happen right away. And these guys have spawned, I don't know, 15 to 20 times, and I've not been able to get the actual eggs to come and actually hatch. So I'm wondering if the pH has something to do with it. But I also would love this tank to be a better display tank and show off more you know, an active fish, a schooling fish. So right now what I did was I pretty much drained it all down, took everybody out of it. Carla's in the 55-gallon frog will go into a tank himself for a while. The corridors and the pleco are in a holding buckets. And I made sure the pH now is adjusted to about 7.0, so neutral. We're going to start with neutral. I know naturally this pH in this particular tank will come down. So if I can get anywhere between 6.5, 6.8 to 7.0 and stay within that range, I would be pretty happy. So I did a big water change, cleared all the leaves off the bottom. I'm going to add some leaves back. I know that will also lower the pH a bit, but these fish do, you know, enjoy cover. So you know, I'm not going to make this tank completely bare of its typical botanicals. But let's go over some of the inner workings. Because right now the Eheim filter, which we are running the Eheim 2117. Eheim 2117. So this is a big boy Eheim filter loaded up. This tank barely holds about 20 gallons of water. Okay, I have it cranked up to its highest level right now, because I'm trying to actually get all the debris that's left over from the big water change and what I've siphoned from the bottom. I'm going to get that to collect inside the filter. So in this tank we have the Eheim spray bar discharge on this side. This is the overflow intake for the actual canister filter itself right there. I put a little sponge to act as a pre-filter. And then this tank is actually drilled in the bottom. So it's draws from the bottom directly into the Eheim, returns via the spray bar back up to here. So once I feel the tank is pretty clear and pH temperature is pretty well acclimated, I'll turn the water flow down a little bit. Now I want this tank to have water flow, strong water flow, but not this strong, not full blast. I say 50% this will probably work. Then we'll figure out what botanicals we'll add back to the bottom. But I'm really starting to appreciate the open sand bottom like that. It reminds me more of a river. Rivers typically are, I would say, pretty clear of any major debris. So with that being said, I think this sort of looks really cool. And not adding too many leaves and pods and botanicals will also aid in not lowering the pH too far. Like I mentioned, I don't want the pH to be below 6.5. So 6.5 to 7.0 would be nice. And that's probably going to take a series of water changes continuously to keep removing detritus and debris and to actually get the balance back in this tank. But this tank always had amazing potential. It's been running for over 3 years. You got the Kessel Amazon Sun, fully adjustable, a little dusty, but you know, nice little workhorse light. Have it turned down to its lowest intensity. The Kelvin rating on this particular bulb was probably around 6 to 6,500 Kelvin, which is more of a whitish light. more of like a whitish yellow light, I should say. You still have the same plants inside the clay balls, which acts as biological filtration, and it also acts as substrate for the plants. The foam base formation was made out of expandable foam, and that was made, like I mentioned, 3 years ago. Holding up amazingly. Amazing the way it held up after all these years. I mean, I guess it would. It's sort of like some sort of rubberized plastic, so it's not like it's going to decompose or break down in any manner. But it's the pond safe, great stuff that I ordered a long time ago, and I used it to build quite a few paludariums and one riparium back in the day. So I'm not sure what tetras will go in here, but something extremely strong that can handle water flow, and we could probably put together like maybe a school, 10, 15, maybe even 20 of them in here. I know the tank is not huge, but man, the capacity of the filtration in this tank is probably the largest capacity of any tank I have set up, from the biological filtration that actively goes on in the clay balls holding the plants, to the massive Eheim filter that filters and runs this tank. This tank can handle anything I put in it, so we just got to try to find something that'll match the water flow I'm looking for. So stay tuned for more. South American Paludarium, return of the South American Paludarium. That's what I'm probably going to call this particular video. It's a little different from the wild betta fish we do, but I started this hobby as a fish nut. Bettas have become my absolute passion. You got to mix it up every now and then. It gets boring having a lot of brown fish that only are different because of the locale they're collected. Some of them are extremely colorful, but I tend to go more towards the larger bodied and immaculata fish, and the shapes are pretty much always the same, and they would not appreciate the water flow I'm looking to recreate in this tank. So stay tuned for more, guys. Wild Betta Fish USA. Ron signing out. See ya. Alright guys, let's overhaul the Eheim 2117. So this is the filter media that I typically use. So in replace of one of these filter micron, or I should say fine filter pads, we're going to go with the inexpensive and always readily available filter floss. Now I'm going to try not to use too much of the original filter material. Of course I want what's original for the biological, but we're going to get to the biological filtration. So this is just mostly for the mechanical and pre-filtration before the bio. So we'll start with the filter floss as a pre-filter. Then I'm going to add one of the original pre-filter pads that has all the beneficial bacteria still on it. We're going to go with a brand new mechanical filter pad that is specific to the Eheim 600, which basically that's what this is. And the company Sera, S-E-R-A, makes these amazing biological noodles. They're made of some sort of ceramic. I don't know all the details, but you can go on to Sera's website and see what they have. I'm using the large capacity. We have overkill. I mean, remember, this Eheim is probably mostly used for a 125 gallon tank, and we're using this on a 20 gallon capacity setup. And then I also have the smaller biological. These are sort of the same, but instead of being hollow, these should have quite a bit of surface area also. And this filtration media has been basically what's been running this setup for pretty much most of the 3 years. I would say about 2.5 of the 3 years it's been running. So we're going to go on top with that, nice and packed. And then we're going to add back to the setup. We're going to go back with the rest of the mechanical filtration. We're going to put the spacer in. We're going to fill this up with water from the main tank, just so we don't affect the biological media. And I'm going to fire this monster back up again, so stay tuned for that.